Hello everyone, welcome back to the course Sustainability for Future Generations Concepts, Technologies and Global Practices. Now we will discuss module number 7, Green Infrastructure and Sustainability Development, which further building resilience cities for the future generation. So this green infrastructure and sustainability development is always interlinked to the smart cities and integration of infrastructure facilities which should be green. In detail, we'll discuss about how this sustainability will be linked to the green infrastructure. So, myself, Dr. P. Swaminagar Ratnagiri, Associate Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, SR University, Warangal. So, coming to the context, so as we know that green infrastructure means it's not about the plants, it is a possible way of converting that whatever the infrastructure is there in a proper way, covering the large amount of huge amount of greenhouse gas emissions. So you see here, whenever you saw the green, it's like creating of semi-neutral or neutral systems designed for the delivery of ecosystem in a proper way. So ecosystem services that enhance the sustainability. You see here, working with nature always it should be a better prospects of getting more amount of advantage rather than working against to the nature. So contrast with the gray infrastructure, where is the gray is always the where we are talking about the gray like cement structures. So conventional concrete heavy dams and drainages with concrete and heavies, whereas the nature base is about the wetlands, rain gardens as well as the green roofs. So when you think about converting whatever the gray roof to the green roof, that is the better way of thinking in a better of green infrastructure, which makes most amount of the uh, pollutants which are emitting to the atmosphere help us to lower down. That is the one way. There are several things we can adopt to make us more amount of green approach rather than going for gray approach. So when you think about the rapid urbanization and heat islands and flooding and biodiversity loss, it's clearly visible that nowadays a lot of emission of heats are going on in each and every aspect. So it's our duty as a responsible to understand what will be the best way to integrate this. So one is the rapid urbanization where we have to talk about the heat islands and flooding as well as the biodiversity loss. Obviously, whenever your this state of conditions are appeared, our biodiversity is going to be lost. So green infrastructure which mitigates these issues. That was the main idea of introducing the green infrastructure while supporting people, health and as well as the ecosystem. You see here a concentrated areas with forest land which protects our biodiversity, air quality as well as supports ecosystem. That is a better way. High amount of creating a small eco forest or small areas into greenery. So in parks and urban tree canopy is one of the best way to provide the shades, reduce the heat islands, and improves the mental health being of the humans. So then we have the green roof system adoption where we can thinking about reduce the energy use and manage the stormwater and improve the insulation facilities among the buildings across the buildings or around the buildings or top of the rooftop where we can provide the greenery. Next is the rain gardens. Absorb rainwater, reduce runoff and filter the pollutant. That is the best way of creating the rain gardens in the community system or in the homes or some small societal ways. So then we have the rain barrels. What is this rain barrels? Rain barrels in a community are in engaging collecting of large amount of water and reducing the demand on the systems. So that was the main important of creating the rain barrels rather than rain harvesting in the one type of system is called rain barrels. Rain barrels is collecting the water and from the reuse and reduce the demand on the system, we will be recollecting and refilter if possible and again we can use it. So then we have the tree plus planetary boxes. What is the meaning of this tree plus planetary boxes? Whenever you go, so rain balance is done and then enhance the aesthetics prospects and manage the runoff improve the air quality is the tree planetary box. That means the small boxes are provided with trees. That will be enhance the air quality, and also it looks like aesthetics in a payment, decide the payments or in a on a community based system. So then we have the stormwater curb extensions. So when we think about the groundwater, so capturing of the filter runoff, this all together, if is providable at one place in a community, that is called as the green infrastructure. Rather than going against to the nature, coming with the nature and making useful as long as possible, then that will be converted as a green infrastructure. Then we have the permeable parent pavement, which allows the water into the ground and infiltrate and reduce the flooding and runoff, which will help us to further improve the groundwater table in the locality, in the community, or in the house. So that was the main important of roadways. Side pathways should be a permeable pavement which enhance the groundwater table. So then we have the bioswales is like filtering the pollutants, reduce the erosion soil, and as the improve the water quality. Bioswales, these are the helping us to bioswales is like filter the pollutants and reduce the erosion soils when the floods are and the rainwater runoff has comes, and improve the surrounding air quality. So then we have the growth zones plus vegetation swales. Growth zones plus vegetation help us to slow down the runoff and filter it and absorb the runoff while supporting the plant growth and biodiversity. These are some of the important aspects to be needed to enhance the green infrastructure facilities in a smart city. So, example, when you go for the gray approach, building storm drains, where you approach the green approach, use biospheres, permeable payments, rain gardens to manage the storm water. Instead of building of drains, we can go with the biospheres or permeable pavement, rain gardens, as well as manage the stormwater. So these are very important parameters to understand how we can make a green infrastructure rather than going for a gray infrastructure. So let us discuss about the what is difference between types of infrastructures we have. As I talking about the green, gray, there is another one zone is called as the green blue-green infrastructure, where blue-green infrastructure is one of the most important parameters, a planned interconnect network of natural and semi-natural areas, including water bodies and green and open spaces that provide different ecosystem services. So this type of blue-green infrastructure help us to interconnect the nature and natural and semi-natural areas, including rivers, lakes, wetlands, parks, forests, and green spaces. It delivers multiple ecosystem services. For example, river corridors it can develop the wetlands, it can use as urban green spaces, it can be develop the green corridors where it interconnecting of lakes and water bodies. More efficient is always the blue-green infrastructure, that is interconnecting the water bodies into the infrastructure. That is the most important thing is where the plant growth will be there, as well as we want to interconnect the lakes, ponds, and water. Then what about the green infrastructure? It is a planned network and the nature of natural and semi-natural areas with other environmental features which are designed to manage to deliver different ecosystem services. What are there? We can develop the green roads, we can develop the urban forest, we can develop the biospheres, rain gardens, permeable paints. This all together which you have developed is as we discussed earlier. This all together we can develop it as the green infrastructure. Next one is about gray infrastructure, where we should not do this one. Traditional human engineering measure that perform infrastructure functions such as water and wastewater treatment or product infrastructure such as dikes and seawalls, where human engineered building infrastructure focus on single or limited functions, provide essential service and production, often high maintenance and resource intensive, like water treatment plants, wastewater treatment plants, dikes and leaves, seawalls, concrete channels. Altogether is called as the gray infrastructure. Only it will function about only one purpose. So why integrating matters is integration of one to each other is very important parameter. We have to integrate the blue-green infrastructure as well as the gray infrastructure. What will happen? It enhance the climate resilience, improve the quality of life, and supports the biodiversity species and manage the water sustainability create sustainable and resilient cities. That was the smart cities. So very important. You try to understand. All the viewers and subscribers. We have to develop in future a better amount of infrastructure facilities when you compare with the because of high evolution, high heat evolution, large amount of CO2 gas emissions. To cut down all these parameters, one is need to think about how effectively we can manage the network system, natural and semi-nest integration to make a green infrastructure or blue green infrastructure, which will make us to more amount of benefits to the nature. So next we will discuss about the components of the green infrastructure. As I discuss what are the components. So components are very simple. When you talk about the green infrastructure, one should understand the green roofs, urban trees that is powered by the shade, reduce the urban heat island effect on the carbon capture. So then you have the rain gardens which will absorb the rainwater and reduce the runoff and filter the pollutants, and the groundwater table will be improved. Biospheres, which natural channels that filter the stormwater and improve the water quality, and also we can think about the how the soil was to be uh, safeguard. And we have the permeable pavements, and we have the wetlands, we have the street trees, where always improve the air quality, provide shades and enhance the aesthetic purpose. Then we have the roadside rain gardens, that is called as the very important to capture, clean and infiltrate the stormwater runoff. So what would be the benefit of among all these parameters what we are discussing is, so we will be getting the urban green infrastructure if we install with green roofs, urban forest and street trees, and we have the rain gardens and biospheres, and we have the permeable pavements. So finally, the regional nature green infrastructure benefits of lot of benefits we can engage with these green infrastructure facilities or solutions. Why reduce the flood risk and improves the air quality in the surrounding, supports the biodiversity, lowers the temperature, surrounding temperature, enhance the well-being of the human being, mental health and physical health, and builds the resilient smart cities. Altogether, it can manage storm naturally, enhances the ecosystem services, sequestration carbon and reduce the emission that is absorbing the carbon, protecting the water resources, creates the beautiful and livable places, saves cut down in the cost of infrastructure, engaging the community and promotes the equality. So working with nature today for a sustainability for the future generation. That is the point where we have to understand how this green infrastructure benefits in several ways. So that is the important point we should understand. Whereas regional natural green infrastructure is always better. Wetland will help us to naturally water filters, flood control, river floods and floodplains, space for excess water during floods. Mangroves, the small shorelines which will for the storm surge. Agricultural landscapes, agroforestry, buffer strips, and for soil and water conservation. So one should understand how these components should be capable of developing of more amount of benefits to the green infrastructure. So while discussing all these things, engaging the people awareness programs and conducting the proper uh, technical aspects and providing them suitable points where we can install this sort of things into the community level based, so it will help us to think about the moving forward to the green infrastructure. That will help us so that how we can future generation people can be survived for the heat waves, floods, drought season because of rainwater. We can make it as rainwater harvest system, or we can make it the rainwater should be infiltrated into the soil. So these are the parameters should be understand how effectively we can manage the green fracture by these components. So I hope you people understand about the components of the green fracture and types of green fracture. So coming to the benefits is clearly I have understandable, clearly given how effectively we can get the benefits, ecosystem service of green fracture. What are they? One is the improves the air quality, that means large amount of emissions are absorbed by the pollutants and produce the oxygen. And sequestration of the carbon. Sequestration means what? Which is absorbing the carbon and plant store carbon, mitigate the climate change. reduce the urban heat island, vegetation cools the air and the surroundings. Manage the stormwater in a perfect way, where green spaces absorb warm water, preventing clump, and reduce the noise among the because of vegetation in the surrounding barrier, increase the property value, green environment enhance the aesthetic boost desert value, enhance the water quality. So how will be water quality? Plants and natural system filter the pollutants and improve the water quality. So then we have the improves the health and well-being of the persons who are in the, around the surrounding region, that is green space, reduce stress, encourage the physical activity. So altogether, which will help us to build up the support biodiversity, provides the habitat, food for birds, insects, and other wildfield. So we can create the urban forest, green roofs, green walls. Already so many of flyovers are designed like this, and rain gardens are very most important, biospheres, wetlands, and permeable pavement. It's all we have discussed already, but you have to understand how effectively we can manage all these things and get the better of green infrastructure benefits. So coming to the case studies, as we discussed, when you think about the Delhi government have developed a zonal map where they have created the green wetlands or green infrastructure is must and should. So where expansion was reducing the pollutant. Hyderabad installed the green flyovers. Walls are mixed with the greenery. The plants are planted, and whereas the Delhi also installed large amount of trees, that is mangroves, are given in the particular state. So that how we can incorporate this uh, greenery infrastructure to reduce the carbon emissions and improve the air quality. So Hyderabad's rainwater harvesting plus urban lake revival, it will help us revival. It helps us to decrease that, and we can get the better water storage. So the metro line project, which is having the lot of greenery around surrounding, is very important. Whereas the in the Delhi, whereas a lot of area was covered by the greeneries and small forests, that is also very important roadside. Also, they have planted a large amount of trees. So this will help us to maintain a good amount of greenery in the IT parks also. Small amount of area should be given for this greenery. And in the Hyderabad flyovers, the total columns having this greenery. So these are some of the case study. We should understand how effectively we can manage these areas to reduce the pollutants. So that will help us to get a betterment of our life, human lives, as well as the gaining a lot of importance in the green infrastructure facilities. So once we have these facilities in a proper way, so definitely they will be having the provision of getting the proper rainfall as well as reduction in the runoff and reduction in the getting of large amount of heat waves. These all things help us how effectively we can manage this greenery system adoption to the infrastructure. So these are some of the case studies where we have to discuss in the Telangana region, that is Hyderabad, where you think about the Mission Kakatiya Telangana. So Mission Gagadiya Telangana is one of the point where we should understand and where we are reviewing the tanks, restoring the ecosystem. So let it ponds, lakes, all these things are reviewing and restoring the regeneration of the traditional tanks and lakes and ponds, improving the groundwater levels, biodiversity and community well-being, enhances the stormwater management and climate resilience. So these are some all important mission. It's called Kakatiya Mission Scheme. So this scheme will help us in Telangana government to regenerate, restore the tanks, level ponds, lakes, all the ponds, and large amount of water bodies. So enhance the storm management in a proper way. So what are the key impact? 46,000 plus tanks regenerated. That means whatever the ponds we have, they have regenerated. That is restored of 46,000. So 60 lakhs plus beneficiaries are observed because of this and improved the biodiversity. These are some of the facilities are governed with the Mission Kakatiya Telangana government. Next one is about Hyderabad green corridors. With the innovative solutions for sustainable and resilient cities, definitely there will be always a development in all the cases. What is that? Hyderabad green corridors. So what is the meaning of Hyderabad green corridors? So they developed the green corridors along the roads, lakes and waterways, reduce the heat island and improve the air quality. That is one way. Next one is promote the walkability, cycling and eco-friendly transport. So with this, there is a loss of 2 to 3 degrees Celsius with the temperature reduction, and key impact was improved air quality and lower CO2 emissions. Then we have the enhanced public spaces and mobility because of less heat waves as well as low amount of carbon emissions. So these are some of the important parameters one should understand how we can make the green corridors. Next we will go for indoor smart city Madhya Pradesh. So indoor smart city Madhya Pradesh is a clean and green energy and smart solutions are incorporated. Why as you can see here, green spaces and urban forests are created for smart waste management, decentralize the waste processing and compositing. Solar energy, green buildings, and sustainable mobility is highly important. So altogether, it can make us the green, clean, and smart solutions can be appeared. So by doing this, India's cleanest city for 6 consecutive years, and we are getting 100% of door-to-door waste collection, and we are increasing the green cover by livability. So these are some of the important key impact goals of Indo Smart City, Madhya Pradesh. So when you think about this, so we are supposed to go for the Delhi green buildings. What is Delhi green buildings? They are promoting the sustainable buildings for a greener future. So promotion for green buildings policy and initiatives, and we are getting water conservation, energy efficiency, and waste reduction, use of sustainable materials by and renewable energy. So that is was 100% IGBS certified hand, as well as there is a reduction in the 20 to 30% of energy saving and 40 to 15% of water savage. So these are important key impact by doing of green buildings where we can concentrate on developing a greenery on the rooftop walls or nearby surrounding or in the ground itself wherever the garden area is there. So by doing all these things, we will get a perfect nature-based solutions. Smart technology can be integrated easily by through innovation that inspires the sustainable tomorrow. So next we have the community participation among this one. Then we have the scalable impact which is there on our head already. So then there is a resilient smart city program can be connected. These are some of the case studies as taken up in India for the Telangana region and as well as Indore as well as Delhi. So these were overall Indian case studies. System, how we can adapt, how can analyze the scenarios, how we can go further to get the better amount of green infrastructure in for the future generation. So now coming to the global case studies, when you think about the New York's Green Roof Tax Abatement Program, so New York Green Park Abatement Program help us to roadside are creating the permeable surfaces and developing the green structure which absorbs the rainfall and sponge cities are called as sponge cities. Netherlands, room for the river instead of fighting floods with concrete, gave river more space through wetlands and parks. This how the looks in the Netherlands where they created the Netherlands room for the river. You see this the progress how they constructed about this. In China they have constructed the garden which help us to lot of um energies can be cut down by using of low energy emissions as well as the getting a better patent applications for enhancing the more amount of greenery nature in the local bodies and communities to enhance the more air quality nature. So next we have challenges are there anywhere. So some of the challenges which we'll be facing off. So as earlier I stated that whenever you want to develop with a nation in a proper way, there is a problem with the challenges in all the aspects like limited funding and resources. You see here, there will be not a large amount of funding for development of green infrastructure. Limited funding and resources, insufficient financial resources, incentive cost, and we have the institutional fragmentation and coordination. So what is happening? Lack of coordination among the agencies and unclear roles of the body. So that is called institutional fragmentation and coordination. If that was missed, then large of problems will be arrived. Next we have social equality and environmental justice. So social equality is very important to one and all. Why? Because everyone should be treated equal. That's what we discuss about the social sustainability. So then we have to think about unequal access to green infrastructure benefits and community concern will be always the social equity and environmental justice. So coming to the knowledge gaps and capacity building, so as you see that limited awareness in the technical expertise and training opportunities. That where you have to engage the people in a proper way and get to be trained them in a particular advanced sustainability aspects, green technology, then definitely it will boost up our economy in a proper way. How they will be conducting of sustainable cities. So next is the climate change uncertainty. There will be always the extreme weather events, stating that a pattern and future uncertainties. So this will be uncertainty in the climate change. It will be creating of low energy requirement. So for the greeneries. So when you think about the technical design is always important in the knowledge exchange program, integrating with the grey systems. Economy is the higher initial cost, maybe through lower long-term cost. Policy is fragmented response across the each and every agencies. Then public awareness program, resistance to the change is also very important in each and every aspects. So these are some of the important parameters. One should have that understand. Once you got the challenge, definitely there will be improvement. So integrating the nature for a better tomorrow is always the impact, and collaboration drives lasting of impact. Investing of green today for a green area of tomorrow. These are some of the important challenges and barriers when you are going for green structure and then implementation. So once you go ahead of this, there will be a possibility of lot of um, solution based approach rather than going for this challenge and barriers. So we should understand how effectively this limited funding and resources are going to boost up our green structure and otherwise prioritizing the main body schemes as well as the mainstream societal bodies and institutional fragmentation coordination. Here, a lot of people require the coordination between among the two peoples or group of people. It will help us to integrate unclear roles. So then we have the equal social equality as well as the environmental justice. So this all together, which will be resolved in a proper way, then they not be called as the challenges and barriers. So then we should understand how these challenges can be a policy integration. So when you talk about the policy integration aspects, definitely, when you talk about the policy integration, we should understand what are the components. One is the urban green spaces for improvement of air quality. So then green roofs of walls, and we have the storm water management, and we have the water bodies and wetlands, where a scenario and sustainable transportation adapted, so which will improve the air quality, reduce the urban heat island, and manage the stormwater in a better way. So one should understand how we can enhance the biodiversity, promote the health of well-being, and support the climate resilience. So which will benefits for the environmental lot of reduce the pollution, conserve the water sequesters. So what could be the economic benefit? So it will lower the infrastructure cost and increase the property value such as greenery, jobs. Social benefits will be improve the public health, provide the recreational spaces among the community and strengthen the community well-being. So climate resilience enhance the good quality of the climate, low floods and droughts may be extended, can be events can be avoided. So examples of green structure looks like parks and urban forest. So incorporating NBS, that is nature-based solution in urban planning, where is the green roofs, where should smart city mission green building codes in India can be adopt this one, and rain gardens, need for cross-disciplinary collaboration engineers and planners and ecologists, and we have the biospheres, where linking the green structure climate adoption, and we have the permeable payment. It should be designed and lot of water should be stopped before going to the seas by runoff. So wetlands should be created, and we have the green corridors. So among all these parameters, we have to understand how effectively we can manage this green infrastructure. So green infrastructure is not just an option; it's a necessary for resilient and sustainability future. So this try to understand to integrate the policy integration and go up with the developing of high amount of green infrastructure facilities rather than for grey infrastructure. So coming to the future trends. So when you talk about the future trends, there will be always net zero infrastructure facility. What is net zero? Whenever you talk about the net zero by 2047, every building should be equipped with its own generation of the its energy. That was the main important. Through it should be a renewable energy. For example, you can design a balanced emission with renewable energy and carbon sequestration. Energy efficient buildings, clean energy and smart grids will be developed. So because of this, we will get the building as a sustainable feature together. Next one, we are getting the second number two, carbon negative concrete. So why carbon negative? Next generation concrete that should absorb the concrete during the life cycle rather than releasing the carbon dioxide while manufacturing of cement. Use for innovative materials and technology for net positive impact. Then we have the AI-driven sustainable cities where IoT and smart centers should be utilized in each every monitoring of energy, real-time data analysis, smart as resilient and people-centric data. Then we have the circular economy integration. As I mentioned, reuse, recycle, and recover the usage of resources. Then minimize the waste and promote the resources in efficiency in a construction system. And we have the nature positive urban planning. What is this? Which can restore the ecosystem in a proper way, enhance the biodiversity, which can create the healthy greenery system. So focus on reviving blue green infrastructure and community well-being. So because of all these statistics, tree can reduce the urban temperature up to 2 to 8 degrees, and green roofs can lower the building energy usage by up to 25%, and permeable pavements runoff reduce the runoff of 70 to 80%, which enhance the groundwater table, and urban vegetation capture the significant of CO2 annually. These are some of the important aspects should be understand, and statistics should be incorporated various techniques into the green infrastructure. Innovate today for a greenery and smarter and resilient for tomorrow. So these about the session about the green development of green infrastructure for a sustainability aspects in getting of resilient infrastructure for the future generation. Thank you to understand this session. All I request all the viewers and subscribers, please give the like, and we'll meet in the next session. And we have the green. Thank you. If you want to discuss about the green structure, we can go with my email ID as well as the LinkedIn profile. Thank you for viewing this video. Jai Hind.